It all began with a tremor, small, imperceptible. The earth vibrated in Forks for barely 5 seconds, not enough for humans to notice, but enough for the Cullens to look up, alert, as if an invisible thread had snapped somewhere in the world. Edward was the first to hear it. Not a thought, not a word, an echo, a strange murmur, like the wind dragging unknown names. The wolves felt it too. Jacob woke up gasping, senses sharp, muscles tense beneath his skin. Something in the forest had changed. Not just the scent, not just the atmosphere, the entire balance. Sam and his pack gathered immediately, forming a circle under the pale moon. "It's not a vampire," Leah said, sniffing the air. "Nor human," added Quill, uneasy. "Then what is it?" No one could answer. The first appearance came at dawn, a translucent figure floating above the Solduck River, its hair like strands of liquid silver, its eyes wells of emptiness. A banshee. Renesmee saw it first, from the cabin. "Mom, what is that?" Bella instinctively covered her. "Something that shouldn't be here." Edward, beside them, whispered, "We are not alone." In the following hours, more appeared. A demon with black wings, poisonous whispers escaping its mouth, a phoenix on fire, crossing the sky like a falling star, shadow beasts emerging from the folds of reality itself. And each creature brought chaos where it tread. Trees died, animals fled, humans began whispering stories of ghosts and visions. Forks silently was under siege. Carlisle gathered the family in the main house. "We can't ignore this," he said gravely. "This is no passing anomaly, it's an invasion." "Of what?" asked Emmett, slamming a wall in frustration. "Of everything legends never managed to explain." Edward replied grimly. Alice, standing beside Jasper, was pale. "I can't see their movements. They're like ink stains in my visions. That was the most terrifying part. They couldn't predict them. They could only react." Sam and Jacob crossed the treaty line, no longer fearing consequences. "It's our home, too," Jacob said. "We won't stand by while Forks falls." Carlisle nodded. "Then we fight together." The first night of defense was brutal. The Cullens, swift and lethal, intercepted the most dangerous creatures before they reached town. The wolves formed a living wall along the perimeter, roaring and tearing. Renesmee, still young but brave, helped from the cabin, keeping everyone connected through projected images. Even Charlie, unaware of the full truth, organized police patrols to protect civilians. All of Forks, human and supernatural, fought to survive. But the rift wouldn't close. Every creature destroyed was replaced by 2 more, and deep within the forest something greater was forming, an open breach, an ancient eye, a will, a being that didn't just want to conquer Forks, it wanted to reshape the world in its image. One night, as the Cullen family rested briefly in the reinforced house, Edward spoke. "We can't just keep defending, we have to find the source and close it." Bella squeezed his hand. "How do we close something we don't understand?" Edward looked at her. "With faith, with love, with everything that makes us real and not shadows." The wolves offered their help. "We'll go with you," Sam said. "Until the end," Jacob affirmed, his eyes glowing like embers. Even humans like Charlie, though unaware of everything, showed a courage no one could deny. Forks wasn't just a town, it was a home, and it had to be defended as such. Thus, the Cullen family, the wolves, and a handful of unexpected allies ventured into the heart of the forest, where the rift pulsed like an open wound in the sky, with wind full of voices, with fog so thick it seemed alive, with the certainty that not everyone would make it back, but also with the hope that together they could change fate. And as they walked toward the rift, a figure watched them from the distance, small, wrapped in light, a creature unlike any other, not an enemy, but an answer, a hope born from the rift itself, and perhaps the key to closing the veil before everything was lost. The crack in the forest pulsed like a heart of darkness. Every step they took toward it, the air grew heavier, the ground softer, as if they were walking on diseased fabric. Edward, leading, closed his eyes from time to time, listening to the murmurs of what had no shape. Bella walked beside him, her mental shield extended as far as she could, protecting the family from the dark emanations. Jacob and Sam, in wolf form, flanked the edges, muscles tense, fangs bared. Renesmee, guarded by Seth and Leah, projected clear images into their minds, mental maps of where the creatures were, of where attacks could come from. It was like a real-time chess battle. Only here, one mistake meant death. The luminous creature awaited them in the clearing. It did not speak, it did not walk, it floated, Its body was a fusion of transparent wings and golden fire, and its gaze, when it settled on Renesmee, was like a whisper inside her soul. I am the echo of all that was sealed. I was born when the crack was born, and I can close it, but not alone. Edward understood immediately. It feeds on will, on bonds. Bella nodded. On everything that unites us. The crack opened its black mouth. From within poured horrors, ripped-winged banshees, demons with cold dead eyes, serpents of smoke, and corrupted phoenixes. The final army, and Forks was the prize. The battle was savage. The Cullens moved like swift shadows, cutting, disintegrating, protecting. Jasper led the charges with military precision. Emmett laughed as he tore down creatures twice his size. Alice, though she could not see the future clearly, guided them all with flawless instinct, anticipating attacks before anyone else could see them. The wolves were a whirlwind of teeth and claws. Sam, Leah, Seth, Quill, Embry, all roared in an ancient chorus, older than any creature born from the crack. And at the center of the chaos, Renesmee. Small, fragile in appearance, but with a new power, the ability to connect. She closed her eyes, extended her mind, and through her, the Cullens, the wolves, the humans of Forks saw each other, felt each other, remembered why they fought, not for territory, not for pride, but for home, for family, for love. The luminous creature vibrated at feeling that connection. Then it fired a spear of light at the heart of the crack. The first impact was not enough. The creatures roared louder. Some tried to reach Renesmee. Jacob leapt between them, taking scars across his back. Bella expanded her shield to cover the entire family. Edward shouted one word, now, and all of them, Cullens and wolves, poured their strength, their love, their entire lives into the crack. The second impact came like thunder. The crack shuddered. It splintered. The monsters screamed, not in pain, but in despair, and one by one, they disintegrated into ashes, returned to the oblivion they should never have escaped. When the crack fully closed, the forest fell silent, not with death, but with peace. The air became air again. The ground became ground again, and Forks remained Forks. The luminous creature floated before them, now smaller, more human, almost a child. Renesmee hugged her. Will you stay? The creature smiled, a smile so pure it brought tears to Bella's eyes. No, my mission was to remind you who you are. Now the world is yours again. And she vanished in a golden sigh. The following weeks were spent rebuilding. Charlie never asked exactly what had happened, but he looked at his daughter and granddaughter with more tenderness, as if somehow he knew they had saved something far greater than their little town. In the clearing, under a full moon, the Cullen family hosted an improvised celebration. No speeches, no protocols, just music, laughter, stories. The wolves came too, leaving old wounds behind for one night. Jacob danced with Renesmee under the stars. Edward played the piano while Bella watched him like the first day. And as the lantern lights illuminated everyone's faces, Carlyle raised his glass. Tonight, we remember that even against darkness and oblivion, love and family are stronger. Everyone toasted. Even the trees seemed to lean softly, thankful that life continued. And thus, in a forgotten corner of the world, a little town called Forks kept beating. Not because it was invulnerable, but because there, bonds were stronger than any crack.